this lineup, just over a year, I'd say, right? Just over a year. Our first show was last March 2022.
Yeah.
We started playing together maybe around
October 21.
It was during lockdown. We were jamming in a pub in Croydon. Sam, we all just happened to be there. Me and George knew each other from the old lineup, and then Sam came along and we jammed and we all got on, and then I started coming around here during lockdown and we started pissing off the neighbours on a regular basis. And then we were like, hey, we got this band. And he was like, yeah, I'm interested. And then it's pretty much gone from there, and like, it was a completely different band when we first started, for sure. Now it's turned into this fucking unholy thing that I don't really know how to explain it, but
yeah,
it's good.
I mean, like when James first sent me some of the demos that he'd been making, I guess there was a little bit more of a kind of psychedelic, almost like maybe even folky element to it, a bit more jangly acoustic sometimes.
Yeah, there were acoustic guitars when it first started.
yeah. Which, I guess the acoustics are not present on the set at this point, so maybe for another time. But yeah, I guess when me and James first like started making music together, I'd actually met George like a few years prior to us jamming together. But when me and James first started making music together, it was like, oh, like we actually have a lot of things that we get into in the same way. Like all of our tastes are like different to a point, but yeah, it was nice. It kind of felt pretty natural. So then when we were just jamming, and then he suggested that like we get in a room and try and do the hot face thing, then yeah, I was pretty open to doing that. And then when we just played as a trio, it was like, alright, this kind of makes sense.
Crossover wise, I think we're all quite heavily into our 60s.
I think in terms of like bands, like definitely like Frank Zappa, bringing in the kind of like random indulgence, I guess.
Yeah. On the crazier end of it.
Definitely shit like 13 Floor Elevators and the Stooges in terms of, I guess, ferocity and melody and noise. And then kind of outside of the 60s stuff, I guess stuff like Bad Brains, Shellac, anything that's kind of like harsh and noisy, and a lot of like garage revivalist stuff, I think plays a big part in it.
I think that's, the harsh and noisy side, like there's probably some of us that like that more than others, and George is more the groove master in that sense.
Yeah, I'm into a lot of funk music. I love my blues music as well, and folk as well. Yeah. So I bring in a little kind of chill everything out sometimes.
Yeah. You're like the mellow one, you're the technical one, I'm the noisy one.
Yeah, that's probably the easiest way to describe it in a nutshell.
Yeah.
But it changes, you know. Like sometimes we find an album or a song and it's like, fuck, this is it. And then we'll like hone in on that sound for weeks. And then we'll find another song that completely contradicts it, or an album or an artist, and we'll be like, oh fuck. So then the result is we have like loads of songs that kind of clash on paper, but somehow work. Which is, I guess, where like the Zappa and like Captain Beefheart influences start coming in, where it's like random to an extent in terms of the mashup of like sound and composition. Maybe, if that makes any sense.
It does. But yeah, I mean, I think, you know, we do all have like a space for stuff that is like slightly calmer and more like melodic and stuff as well. Like people like Stereo Lab, I think we all get into, for example. Yeah. Like Melody's Echo Chamber, when we were driving to France, we were like, we need some French music, so those two artists were on rotation at that point. So there's a fair bit of that going on. Also, you should check out a ridiculous band called Bapak.
Bapak.
Yeah. Crazy Indonesian music that will just take you on a wild goose chase, basically.
Oh dear.
I mean, my mate described it in 2 words, which is like playful and fast. I think it's probably gone somewhere slightly different since that point, maybe as well.
Yeah.
Probably heading potentially in a slightly kind of like darker like direction potentially.
Yeah, I'd say it's like psychedelic punk with garage sensibilities.
Yeah.
I'd say that would be like the most concise way of describing it.
My favourite show personally would be one we did recently, which was at Left of the Dial. We played on a boat.
Yeah.
And it was like first thing in the afternoon, so everyone was kind of still crawling out of bed. We came on and played, and we were all rocking about because of the movement, the waves and whatnot. Yeah, it was just a great time, and it really felt like the energy was right, and we were playing together really nicely, and yeah.
Cool. Recently, I think that was definitely probably all of our favourite.
Yeah.
In terms of recent shows, I mean, I think for some reason we seem to thrive off of like being on the same level as the audience. So like being on like a raised stage. I mean, you know, we've definitely also played shows that have been fun in that capacity as well. But there was something about just being like on the deck of a ship with like everybody kind of just like crowded around in a circle, like kind of being like surrounded in like a nice way and like on the same kind of.
And you're on a boat, so no one can fucking leave.
No one can leave.
You know.
I was wearing an eye
nice,
patch over my best pirate existence. Yeah, and it was quite fun, like aiming for a cymbal and then having it like slightly move as you were trying to go for it. But we also played that with a band called Tummy Ache, and I don't think any of us had seen them play before, so that was like a nice surprise as well.
Yeah,
like a nice double bill. Other gigs, we played a show at Lexington, which was just like a pleasure, partly because it's nice to play at Lexington and it was a speedy night, so generally a good time, but also Serge, right?
The guy doing sound.
Was on sound, was just like, it was just dreamy because everything just sounded great and he was so nice to work with, and it was nice to just be in a situation where you could like just hear everything really well and just be like, oh yeah, right, like, you know. Doesn't always have to be scatty. Sometimes scatty is fun, but sometimes it can.
We also played a burlesque night. The day after playing Lexington, we played a burlesque.
Yeah, we did a
called like the Jiggly Club or something that they do at Paper Dress. That was fucking hilarious because we have a song. We don't play it that much anymore. We got a song called Monster House, and we got the burlesque dancer to like dance on stage wearing a monster mask, which was just fucking hilarious, to be honest.
Yeah, it was quite
got quite raunchy.
I mean, naturally. Yeah, because she was asking like, how far do you want me to kind of go, you know, my routine?
Sam was trying to convince the burlesque dancer to not take her top off.
I mean, I was just like,
funniest conversation.
She was like, I might take my top off, and I was like, all right, you know, like, yeah. It's just, it's kind of like an interesting one where you're just like, okay, I don't really know how to navigate this situation, but no, she was amazing. Just like really like, you know, fun to chat to and like to kind of be involved, because we literally asked her like pretty much, you know, the day before, like, do you want to do a little something for our set? And it was great. Lovely time. Brought a great mask as well, kind of want her mask.
People definitely seem a lot more keen and eager to get involved, for sure. I mean, fuck man, we've played like more shows in Europe than we have in England, like in terms of like outside of London, because it was kind of unheard of for us as well. And then we like basically just sent a barrage of emails to a bunch of people until someone was like, oh yeah, you can come play. So that's how we got into Europe. But yeah, it's nice. They're they're just super sweet out there, and they're super happy that there's a band playing, and like they're very open-minded towards it. So it's nice because like you'll play and people will come up and chat to you about your music, and then like kind of asking similar questions of like what kind of music are you into. Like they're interested to get underneath it, to like witness it, and then to know the behind the scenes, which is cool. And it's like humbling as well when you're chatting to people that you've just played a show to, and they're like telling you they had a good time, and you're like, well, I had a good time. And before you know it, you're doing shots of them at the bar, and you're taking pictures of each other, and you're throwing up in the bathroom together. It's
I leave that side of it to James.
You make a lot of homies out there.
No, it's good. It definitely feels like it's a nice atmosphere out there. You definitely generally kind of feel like there's a better infrastructure around the shows as well.
Oh yeah, like fuck man, like you'll play a show in London and your rider might be like 12 cans of Red Stripe between all bands.
Normally
you play out there, like the first Paris show we played, it was like fucking pasta, couscous, charcuterie board, cheese board, like fucking endless supply of wine. And it was just like, I don't even want to play, I just want to eat.
They had like a bougie shower in the green room, so after the set I just went and had a shower.
Yeah. Was that a festival or just a standalone show?
It was at Supersonic in Paris.
Paris.
Those guys are great, yeah, so we've kind of been planning some shows with the guys who like book for them back in France. And they were out in Left of the Dial, which is where we were most recently. So I went and hung out with them for a bit as well. They're lovely folks. And the guy had a Place to Bury Strangers t-shirt on, I think, when we were playing out.
Yeah, they're really fucking
Supersonic, so we were like, oh, he must be.
They're very fucking brutal as well. Like some of the promoters would just be like, I do not like that.
yeah, he took no prisoners.
No.
I think it was our third show that we played, and Dan just happened to be in the audience by chance, and he came straight up to us at the end of the show. He loved it, and came straight up to James. He was like, "Who are you? Where have you come from?" He just wanted to know everything about it, and then he expressed his interest in doing a single with us.
Pretty much after 5 minutes of chatting to him, he was like, "You want to do it?" And we were like, "Fuck yeah, we want to do it." And then it was just that song, because I think that was just the song he liked, and we were kind of like, what's the most abrasive song in our set at the time that we could put out, and that was it.
Yeah, I think he was also quite clear that was the one that he wanted to do, really. Like, initially when you guys were like, he wants to do Joe, I was like, oh, okay, we're doing that now. Like, just kind of come out with pretty much at the time the kind of most nutty song that we've made. But it was a lot of fun, man, and it was a nice kind of moment of just like unplanned joy in that sense, because like 3 shows in, he didn't plan on seeing it, he just happened to be there. And then there's a funny little video of him with his like hood up starring the mosh pit for that show. It was like kind of devilish grin on, so that was a nice little night in general, I think.
Recording the single is just like, their whole thing over there is just to like capture a performance that feels as live and kind of off the cuff as possible. It was literally just like, went in 3 takes and you're done, like a few overdubs here and there. That's quite cool, because it feels like you're just doing a show almost for one song in front of 3 other people.
Yeah,
which is nice, definitely exciting.
James did his vocal take like 1 go, that was it.
Yeah,
which was pretty fun. It was done to tape, and also just fun to kind of be in that space and watch Dan work with Lex. They've been working together for like 18 years, so it was just like a proper symbiotic relationship that they had. They almost didn't really need to talk to each other,
No,
they just kind of like happen, which was kind of amazing. And he has this huge analog solutions like modular system, so he'd be running like James's guitar through that and sidechaining it to the kick, and like it's all going a bit mental. But there's a little bit of that in there, but there's a few clips I've got on my phone that show you a little bit of the craziness that he was doing.
Very, very, very fun. Very fun.
Yeah, very creative. He has a sign on the door that says evil instead of exit. So, you know.
I mean, like, prior to that, the only recorded music we had was shit I made in my bedroom from like 2018 through to like 2020. So we'd never recorded as a band, let alone recording live as a band, let alone recording in like some fucking studio from the future as a band. When you've got this like mad scientist running around plugging shit in and like, yeah, like Sam said, like doing crazy things that you would never think of.
Yeah, he's definitely very creatively minded, and I think he knows, you know, what sound he's going for pretty much off the bat. He's just so geared into like, you know, sonic worlds like that. It's just what he's attuned to, you know. And when he's excited about that, you can really see it, you know. And he's very invested in sound above everything else, really. I mean, yeah, just seeing him like, you know, position mics on the drums, like lots of mics on the drums. Man. Yeah. Some people are like, yeah, you just need 2, you know. I don't think he approaches it that way, but he makes it sound amazing.
Like a dozen, just like
yeah. But I think it was nice to kind of have someone that just kind of got it before a lot of other people even knew he existed. Do you know what I mean? So that was nice. Yeah.
That's a good question.
I mean, yeah, because obviously we've only recorded one tune. I think in terms of like what we plan on doing, we'll probably deviate slightly, you know, in terms of bigger bodies of work. Obviously a single kind of is a standalone thing. I think probably some of the stuff that I do live I might kind of, you know, consider in a slightly different way for like other recording purposes that we'll do like going forward, I think. But yeah, I think maybe also, you know, part of our sound is trying to capture some of the energy of like what we do live, you know, and not trying to make it like this quantized, you know, like very analytical thing, because I think you lose quite a lot, at least for what we're doing.
Yeah. Pretty natural representation.
Yeah.
I think that single is.
Yeah, there's like a few things going on below the surface, but I guess because we're doing quite a lot in that track anyway, there's not really that much space to like put in loads of other crazy textures. I mean, I think double tracks like James's guitar through it was like a baritone for a bass amp through like a pedal called the Destroyer by Death by Audio, so that was a pretty fun moment. And then yeah, I think Dan likes to run things through like a few different amps, so that's always quite like nice to kind of hear it, you know, kind of coming out at you in like an interesting kind of stereo spectrum. But yeah, I'm just kind of excited to see what the next stuff sounds like. But yeah, we've done some kind of demoing stuff just to hear different ideas.
Yeah.
So that's kind of given us some thoughts as well.
You may or may not be working on a larger body of work that may or may not be coming soon to a cinema near you.
Yeah. We're excited, and yeah, it's looking like it's going to be a good kind of beginning or middle of the year, depending on how quickly things move. But yeah, still kind of all to be like finalised in terms of like dates and all of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely on the cards. Because I mean, yeah, only one song out, so we definitely want to get some more bits out into the ether. But just want to make sure that it feels right when we do it. You
Yeah, definitely. I think an open mind is the way we approach everything. We could come to the studio and spend like an hour writing a song that we have sussed within the first 5 minutes. You know, we're like, okay, that's definitely how the song's going to be, but let's go down every avenue to make sure like there's no stone left unturned.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just jam for fucking hours and nothing happens, and everything you're doing sounds like shit. Sometimes you jam for 20 minutes and you got like 4 songs.
Yeah.
So I think yeah, we just try and keep like very open mind, and like definitely we try not to put parameters on what we do or what the sound is.
Yeah.
Obviously we have our influences, and we all kind of bring them to the table, but it's also like there's nothing to say that we can't go out into like new terrains. And then it's fun because like when you have that open mindset and you are making music with people that you have a similar musical connection to, you can fucking go into waters that you never knew you could do. You can end up playing fucking jazz songs, and you're like gone in there and you've like tried to write like some thrashy like 2-minute rock song. Before you know it, you're in like a fucking 30-minute jam with like someone on the piano, someone on the fucking maracas, and So I think definitely just keeping an open mind and like being willing to experiment is a like probably the main centerpiece of what we try and do.
Yeah, and it's pretty equal in terms of how much everybody contributes. I guess because there's not really anyone doing the same job, do you know what I mean, as well? Because there's only one person providing like the bass and the guitar and the drums, so there's that. And then most of the time with vocals it's just like whoever ends up writing the part, and whatever seems to sit well. So I think in that sense it's pretty egalitarian, which is nice actually, to kind of have that level of kind of collaboration, because sometimes with bands there's like one person spearheading it and it's like their vision really, but I think with this everybody kind of can chip in whichever way, which is definitely a fun thing to kind of have. But you never know what's going to come out of like a jam that you do. Sometimes, like James was saying, you'll just jam and just do it because you're just having fun.
Yeah. That's the other ethos. Have fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Fun is primary thing. Like, there's no point doing it if you're not doing it for the love and the joy of doing it first.
Yeah, because otherwise you could just be doing anything else, really.
Yeah.
You could be doing something that was much more like predictable, reliable, whatever, but it's obviously not what we're setting out to do. That's not what we're about. It's more exciting, keeping things a bit unpredictable.